I'm Ryan from ExtremeTerrain.com, and this is my review and installation of the RedRock 4x4 front bumper with grill guard and winch mount, fitting all 2007 and up JKs. Today we're going to talk through the installation of this bumper, which is a very simple 1 out of 3 wrenches. Like most other aftermarket front bumpers, this will bolt directly in place of your factory bumper without the need to drill or cut anything. We're also going to talk through some of the features and the construction of this bumper. This bumper is for those of you who want to upgrade the plastic factory front bumper on your JK to one that has more features and will offer some more protection to your Jeep. And this will also save you some money over those top tier bumpers on the market. So if you're looking for a sub $500 bumper that has a ton of features and in my opinion looks pretty good, this is a great place to look. This bumper is built from 1/8 inch steel, and the tube on the top is 2-inch round, 0.12 inch wall thickness steel tubing. The whole bumper is of course covered in a textured black powder coat finish, which does a really nice job of protecting the bumper against rust and corrosion, but also looks good with the factory plastic black accents on your JK, and will also match a lot of the other aftermarket accessories you might bolt onto your Jeep. Now, the fact that this is 1/8 inch steel is one of the ways RedRock is able to keep the cost of this bumper down a little bit. Some of the other bumpers on the market will be 3/16 or even a little bit heavier. However, a heavy front bumper can also cause the front suspension on your Jeep to sag a little bit. So it really comes down to what you want on your Jeep. This bumper weighs in at 99 pounds, has a bunch of features, and will offer some great protection. If you are willing to spend a little bit more money and you're not as concerned about the additional weight, there are some bumpers that are built of a little bit of a heavier material if that's what you're looking for. As far as features go, as I mentioned, this bumper has quite a few of them that I really do like. Of course, right up on front here, you do have a couple of D-ring mounts that are welded into the bumper and bolt directly into the frame horns of your JK, making them a very strong recovery point. You of course have this grill guard that I mentioned that bolts right on top of the bumper, which does add a little bit of additional style and will do a nice job of protecting the grill and the winch against any brush on those narrow trails. Now, the grill guard does not have any light mount tabs welded onto it, which is one area that I think is a little bit lacking with this bumper, but overall, again, I think it is a really well put together piece. Finally, right up front here, you do have a winch mount that comes in the box with the bumper, ready to hold up to a 12,000 pound winch. Now, anytime you have a winch mount that just bolts right on top of the bumper like this, I personally don't like the look of it as much as a sunken winch. However, again, for the price of this bumper, you are getting a ton of features. If you are looking for one of those sunken winch mounts or something that looks a little bit more finished than this, of course, the options are available. However, you are going to have to spend a little bit more money. One of the other features that this bumper has that I really do like is the fact that it will accept your factory fog lights or any aftermarket fog light that fits in a factory fog light location. You already have the wiring, the switch, and in most cases the light, so the fact that this allows you to utilize those is a really nice feature. You're not having to go out and buy any lights to fit in any holes. This will accept those factory fog lights. And as far as styling goes, this bumper actually mimics your factory bumper a good bit by having these bump outs right over the frame horns. So while it is absolutely an aftermarket bumper that has a lot more features, adds a lot more protection, and does look a lot more rugged, it still follows those factory styling cues, so it matches the rest of the lines on your Jeep really well. As I said before, the installation of this bumper is a very simple 1 out of 3 wrenches. The first step is of course removing your factory bumper, which you'll do by removing your splash shield if you still have one in place, and the frame cover up on top. Finally, you'll unsnap your fog light wiring harness from the crash bar and remove the fog light bulbs from the housings themselves. After that, it's just a matter of removing the 8 nuts that are holding your factory bumper in place and pulling it off the front of the Jeep. From there, you'll remove the 8 screws that are holding your 2 fog lights in your factory bumper and mount them in your new bumper. After that, you can set the new bumper over the frame horns and attach it using the hardware that's included. Now, if you are going to be mounting a winch on your new bumper and using the included winch plate, I would recommend bolting the winch end plate onto the bumper before you put the bumper onto the Jeep. Now, that is going to make this package a little bit heavier and a little bit more cumbersome to lift onto the Jeep. However, it's a lot easier to get to those winch mounting bolts and make sure you get them good and tight with the bumper on the ground instead of on the Jeep. I would also recommend that you mount this grill guard onto the bumper before putting the bumper on the Jeep as well. It will make the installation process that much easier for you. All in all, I would say this installation shouldn't take you more than an hour to get done, and you won't need any specialty tools, just some traditional hand tools. As I said before, there are a couple of ways that RedRock keeps the cost of this bumper down a little bit, and this whole thing comes in at around $475, which in my opinion for a bumper that has all the features this one does is a great buy. Now again, some of you may look at the material being 1/8 inch and say that it doesn't offer quite as much protection as some of those heavier bumpers on the market, and that may be true, but 1/8 inch steel also helps to keep the weight down a little bit, which will decrease any suspension sag up front, so you won't be putting money into stiffer springs or spacers. So again, it's really down to what you want for your Jeep. If you're looking for a sub $500 bumper that has a lot of features, I really like this one. If you want one of those heavier duty bumpers and you have the budget for it, we have those options as well. So if you're looking to upgrade that factory plastic front bumper on your JK to a steel bumper that has a ton of features, still matches all of the lines of your Jeep, and keeps weight down a good bit, this is going to be a really nice option to take a look at. So that's my review of the RedRock 4x4 front bumper with grill guard and winch mount, fitting all 2007 and up JKs that you can find right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.